Hi there, folks. This is Betsy. I'm here to show you beginners a couple tricks and techniques and tips for getting a new drawing started. I know that's a concern for a lot of people. So first I'm going to start with the grid method. And all I've done is made my actual grid. These are 1 inch by 1 inch squares. And that's really the easiest one for illustrative purposes. So you start on your scratch paper or your working surface and you create your grid. And keep in mind, you'll be doing this in pencil most likely, but just so you guys can see it better, I did it in marker. And then I went ahead and numbered 1 through 6 and then went through my alphabet at the top. You don't need to do that part, but it does make it easier when you're trying to match everything up. And here is my reference photo where I've also made a grid. Again, it's in marker, and I know it's a little hard to see. I apologize. My reference photo is kind of dark. But same thing over here. In my margins, I numbered it to match my grid on my surface, and real tiny up there I have my alphabet. So all you're going to do once you have your grid marked out on both your reference photo and your surface is figure out where you want to start. Say we wanted to start up here. This is square 2C. So I would start in 2C. So this little guy is the square I'm going to start with. And just a note with this, the grid method really works extremely well if you want to resize your image. So say you're only able to print on a normal 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, but you wanted to draw it twice as big, your squares here on your reference photo will be 1 inch by 1 inch. But if you wanted to double your image, your drawing, these squares here could be 2 inches by 2 inches. It would just be double what your reference photo is. And that can go as large as you need it to go. A lot of muralists use this method to get their drawings down for any murals that they do. You know, you're not going, someone who's doing a 10 foot by 10 foot painting is not going to be printing out a 10 foot by 10 foot reference photo. So this is where the grid method really comes in handy, especially when you want to resize your drawing from the reference photo image size. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to start with block number 2C. And I do apologize for the angle of my camera. I don't have an overhead set up for it. So on my reference image, here's my 2 row and here's my C row. So I'm going to start here, and you're really just drawing each square one at a time, just as you see it. I'm going to start with this big green guy. And for me, I'm just kind of getting my shapes in, mostly because I will be going in with colored pencil and getting everything done, but you're really just working on your outlining. Some people would actually go in and do every little tiny nublet in there, but I'm not for my real drawing anyway. I just really need the outline. So over here we have another little flower. And there's the tippy top of the eye of the flower, the center of it. And we'll move up to the top and do this little carnation up here. And I might as well go ahead and do my C1 because it's just this little edge of a flower up here. And it looks like we have some leafage and foliage back here, so we'll block those in as well. And I'm only going to do a couple squares for you guys, just so you guys can see. I'm going to go over and do my E1, row 1, column E. Kind of like a spreadsheet, isn't it? So 1 and E, and we have this really nice lily petal, and you're just drawing what you see. It doesn't get much easier than that. And keep in mind, this is your working sketch, so if any changes need to be done or if you need to edit anything, you can go in and erase and scratch things off or add and delete things. It's yours, whatever you need to do to get your drawing accurate. So for example, let's get a little closer. This little line right here, I would erase that. And I'd probably move this petal over some. And this didn't have quite as much of that kind of curve. So we have a little bit more of from the reference photo, E1, E1. And if you needed to, you could lightly block in whatever's shaded, just so you don't get lost in your drawing. Okay, and you would really just keep on going. Most people would work left to right and top to bottom, so it would kind of go this way. And that works great for the grid method. So there's the grid method for you. And I've already got one of the other drawing methods is freehanding, where you just look at your reference photo and draw what you see. And that's what I did for this, but I did want to show you guys the grid method. So at this point, we're going to move over and I'm going to show you how to transfer your image. So if you're using the grid method, once you're finished using your grid, you would then be ready for transferring to your final sheet of paper so you can then apply color. If you freehanded the drawing onto your working surface, work table, and move over to my homemade light box, which you guys will be able to see now. So just a minute.